What is up, everyone? I'm back with my buddy Leo, going through another EPL weekend. I don't know about you, Leo, but I missed the EPL last weekend with some international games, and I'm excited to have it back.
I'm ready. I saw a couple of the players that I like that are in the EPL perform over the international break, and I'm excited to see him again in the EPL.
Yeah, I know exactly the name you're going to say. Get your moment. I don't know why you have a fixation on him, but get your moment out. Say what you need to say about him.
I got two players, actually. Two players are obvious: Jack Grealish and Cristiano Ronaldo. Actually, a third one just popped up: Luis Diaz in Everton. That's going to be interesting because that dude has been making something happen out of nothing in Colombia, and hopefully he can do what James didn't do.
Well, Luis Diaz, let me just triple check here. Did he actually move to Everton? He didn't. It says he still plays for FC Porto.
Oof.
So that did not get in under the transfer deadline. So, which is another fun thing that I'm sure we'll discuss in transfers, just who moved where in the EPL. And you did kind of allude to what was probably the biggest transfer deadline move, which was Cristiano Ronaldo going to Man United, which of course was not on the books when we were on the mics the last time. But we're going to run through the schedule right now, and we'll talk through each of the games. Opens up tomorrow, bright and early, Crystal Palace against Spurs, home game for Crystal Palace. Your thoughts?
It'll be a beating. Not much to see. Tottenham's a great team. It's still the 7:30 a.m. game, so I always wake up early to watch those. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be nice to have the EPL, but is this going to be the best game of the weekend? No.
Well, I'm going to give a little yes and no. Yes, it should be a blowout. Spurs are top of the table. Palace right now are middle of the road, question mark. Palace are 14th, which was probably where they're going to be the whole season. But remember, and we've said this before, Spurs are 3-0 with 3-1-0 victories. So I don't want to crown him yet. 3-0, 3-1-0 victories is not as impressive as one would think. And Palace, they've put things together of late. I mean, they looked very, very limp in their first few games. I think that they were better in the third game, or at least they looked better. I mean, the results might not have been there, but at least they looked better. So they're getting there. They have a new manager. I mean, both teams have a new manager. Still have Spurs winning. I mean, I don't want to hide that, but I think it's going to be another tight game. I mean, look at Palace for a second. Yeah, they lost 3-0 to Chelsea in the first week, but then they drew 0-0 against a Brentford team that doesn't look bad, and then they drew 2-2 against West Ham, who are riding high. So if you're of the thought that West Ham and Tottenham are on similar-ish levels, they drew against West Ham at West Ham, and now they're at home. So I just don't think it's going to be a blowout that we think it's going to be. I think that there's going to be a little bit more in this game. So
It's going to be a blowout.
Okay. Hey, look, you're definitely right to believe it, and I wouldn't be shocked if it is. I just don't think that it will be. I wouldn't be shocked if it is, but I just don't think it will be. The next game, we have 19th against 20th in the table, and this is really me shitting on one of the teams, as Arsenal host Norwich.
Hmm.
Arsenal need to win this game 3-0. I mean, for them to have a pulse, a life, a breath, anything this season, they need to come out and absolutely put it to Norwich. If they don't, like, even if it's a win, but it's like a 2-1 or a 1-0, Arteta's fired by the end of the day. He might even be fired in the post-game conference and forget about it if they don't take all 3 points. If they don't take all 3 points, Mikel Arteta might as well hand in his coaching badge. Your thoughts?
I think it's going to be a battle of the losers. Norwich, they're not doing so hot, but they have some talent. And you can say the exact same thing for Arsenal, is that they haven't been so hot, but they have some talent. So, and the fact that they have to win, both of them. So, I don't know. It's going to be a better game, I think, than the last one we discussed, Crystal and Tottenham, just because it's the EPL and these teams have to get scrappy and these teams can get scrappy sometimes. Hopefully.
Okay. I mean, that's a lot of optimism for you, for the neutral view on it. But I am interested to see how this game plays out. Let's just put it that way. I'm interested to see how it plays out. I mean, it should be a drubbing for Arsenal. I almost don't want it to be a drubbing for Arsenal just for the content. Just to see everybody lose their mind about, oh my God, Norwich. I want Norwich to beat Arsenal. I'm not going to hide that fact. Just because the immense just shitstorm that would come with it. But I mean, come on. That's an Arsenal win. At home too, at the Emirates, that's an Arsenal win. Next game, very interesting. I doubt that this will be as interesting to you as it is to me. But Brentford, Brighton at Brentford. Games like this, I say, are very interesting because this is where you see where Brentford is. As we said earlier, Brentford drew against Crystal Palace. They beat Arsenal. And they, third game was a draw against Villa. So when you look at what they've done this season, you got to win against Arsenal. You got to draw against the Palace team that spent a lot. You got to draw against an Aston Villa team that spent a lot. So what is Brentford? What are they? And I think we're going to find out today or tomorrow. Is Brentford a team that is in the Brighton, Burnley, Crystal Palace, Newcastle middle? Or are they fighting for relegation? Your thoughts?
Yeah, my opinion is pretty similar. These teams are middle of the table teams, and this is really going to define if they deserve to stay in the middle of the table or not. So far, Brighton hasn't really impressed. I could see them going down a couple of spots, maybe not when I'm going to say top, bottom. But I am going to say somewhere around 13 or 14th, Southampton, Crystal Palace. And then it's exciting to see Brentford tackle all the different challenges. They started off hot. They're going to get a chance to pound on somebody, and let's see them pound on somebody, hopefully. And if they don't, then we'll put them in a class where they deserve. I like what you said. This is really going to define what they're really made out of. More on the Brentford side than on the Brighton side, I think.
So, yeah, that's definitely an interesting way to look at it. I think that this game is going to tell us a lot. tell us a lot. What I think is the biggest game of the weekend comes next. Leicester against Man City. And this actually opens up to another discussion, which is the Brazilians. And will they be able to play? You and I spoke offline about how very, quite frankly, fucked Man City would be if the Brazilians can't play. There's a lot of talk about another game that comes on Sunday with regards to the Brazilians, but Man City's starting goalie is Brazilian. Man City's backup goalie has COVID. Man City's third string goalie is a 4-year-old.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Jamie Vardy's gonna smell blood if that were to happen. All these boys are. It's a dangerous game, whether Brazilians are there or not. If the Brazilians aren't there, they're fucked. But yeah, who knows? They still got Jack Grealish, you know?
Grealish can't play goalie.
It's going to be a good game, regardless of Brazilians or not. The Brazilians being absent is just going to be like a movie, you know, where it's just drama the whole game. There's going to be a 40-something-year-old in goal. Who'd you say was injured? Hopefully he'll be back. Did we check? Are there news about that?
Let me check. It's Zach Steffen, who's their backup goalie. Zach Steffen. Yeah. He's got COVID.
No.
That's what I said. He's got COVID, baby. So, I mean,
damn.
I just clicked on a Daily Mail article. Manchester City's third choice keeper, Scott Carson, 36, set to be handed his first meaningful Premier League appearance in 3,765 days at Leicester.
Fuck.
And Leo, at Leicester. At Leicester. So are we still sure that this is going to be, I mean, I know you're saying they'll be fine, they don't have the Brazilians, but you love Leicester. You love Leicester, and I know I give you shit about it, but Leicester is a good team. A 36-year-old who hasn't played in 3,700 days in the Premier League at goalie, I mean,
damn.
That changes everything.
Yeah, I don't like the odds of that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We're going to see what Leicester's made out of, what Jamie Vardy can do. It's going to be a good game.
I mean, I think the Brazilians playing or not playing are going to impact two games. Another one we're going to come on to. It's actually the only game on Sunday. And then this game, because if Ederson's not playing, yikes. Major yikes. And I know, I'm not going to say I know because that is not the right thing to say. I have picked up from other conversations we've had that the value of a goaltender to you can vary. So for you, and correct me if I'm wrong, you just want a goalie that's not going to make mistakes. And Ederson is kind of a hit or miss. Like, he wants to be involved in the game. I forget what you said the exact diseases for Brazilians, but they just want to be involved. Their heads go crazy. And Ederson's one of those. He wants to be involved. Scott Carson is going to stand there in the net and save the balls that are shot at him, or not save them. He's not going to try to be involved in the offense. He's not going to move the ball from the back. He is going to be planted directly in the middle of the net and dive side to side. So,
my question is, are his teammates going to realize that and steer clear of the play? Because that's what happened inversely with Liverpool last year. They had the keeper, but he didn't have the defenders. And the defenders were playing a game, or the goalie was playing a game with the defenders that they're used to, but he forgets that, he doesn't have those players on the field.
Yeah. Therein lies the problem. Because Kyle Walker, Ruben Diaz, João Cancelo, whoever else is playing in the back line, they're assuming Ederson is a go out and get it goal. So if there's a ball coming, and especially Leicester, who presses and flies, if there's a ball that's coming into the back line and they assume that Ederson would go for it and Scott Carson's standing there with the shit in his pants, that's an easy tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we're at a point right now where we don't know who the goalie's going to be still. So it's not like Pep is going to be able to coach him up. And I hate to keep on mentioning it, but the other team who may be affected by the Brazilian goalie has played with their goalie. So the guy, one of the two, or one of whoever the goalie is going to be, Liverpool's played with before. So if it's Kelleher, if it's Adrian, they've played with them. They haven't exactly played with Scott Carson at City. So that's going to be real interesting. That's going to be real interesting. So that is that with that. Moving on to the next game, it's Man United Newcastle at Old Trafford. Welcome back, Ronnie. I don't see a lot to talk about in this game. I mean, United should absolutely walk the dog. Like, no problems. Yeah. And if they do have problems, Man United have problems. I mean, I know that sounds so unintelligent, but if Man United have problems in this game, we have a problem with Man United. This should be easy peasy.
It's an easy one. It's a practice game. It's really to see what Ronaldo still has in stock, how his legs are doing, and see how he meshes with the rest of the team, with Bruno, with Cavani, with all these other fucks, especially Pogba, hopefully with Pogba. So we'll see.
You think Ronaldo starts?
I think the coach will make something special for him, and he'll probably sub in, I don't know, midway through the first half.
Okay.
Or midway through the second half. He probably wants him to get clapped onto the field, maybe.
Okay.
Big stuff.
Well, I think he's gonna get clapped onto the field anyway. The moment he steps out and
but it's going to be at the same time as Manchester United as a whole. So what would make it special would be to single him out. Who knows?
Yeah, well, we'll see.
We'll see.
Next game, Southampton West Ham. It's at Southampton, which intrigues me because Southampton played pretty well at home against United. As we alluded to, or as we stated earlier, West Ham did draw against Crystal Palace before the international break. But of course, everybody has that drubbing of Leicester in their minds. I mean, I'm tricked right now because I'm thinking of how Southampton played against United at home. And that may be jading me to Southampton stinks. So I'm thinking about Southampton stinks, but I'm also thinking about they played really well against Man U. So I got to balance the two things. Your thoughts?
Let's see. Where exactly is West Ham? Not a very believable spot. I think it's going to be another battle of the losers. Mm-hmm. You know, just two mediocre teams trying to tear each other up. West Ham's probably going to win it. I agree. Southampton hasn't been looking pretty good.
Yeah.
They got to start winning something. So right. I think they got a chip on their shoulder. West Ham's on a hot streak, and in quotations.
Yeah.
Then
I mean, they're second in the table.
Hopefully they'll have motivation to maintain it.
Right.
I think it's going to be a pretty good one.
Yeah. I mean, West Ham's second in the table. They've scored the most goals in the league, tied with City. They have a lot. They have a lot to be playing for. I mean, Mikel Antonio is the informed forward in the league. They're on it.
Yeah.
Um,
Not the 10 o'clock game I'm gonna watch probably, but for sure gonna be in a good background game.
Yeah. Next one, just for quick picks. Actually, we didn't go through quick picks on the last few games. What was your quick pick on Leicester Man City?
Tell me what a quick pick is.
Like, what do you think the winner is going to be? What do you think the score?
Out of, you said Leicester Man City?
Yeah, because we didn't do the last 3 games.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Man City.
What are you thinking? 3-2,
You know what? 0-0. 0-0, but Man City might win a 1-0. It's gonna be a pretty boring game, actually. If the Brazilians aren't there, Manchester City is gonna park the bus. So 0-0.
I'm going the other way on it. I got 3-2 Leicester. I think that City knows that they have to go after this title. I think that the Liverpool-Chelsea game last weekend is going to affect, or 2 weekends ago, is going to affect Man City mentally. And it's going to say, look, we got at least 2 teams that are ready to take our title. So they're going to go hell and leather. And I think that that's going to be in their disadvantage. And I think Leicester are going to take advantage of it. City is still City. I think that it's going to be a back and forth game. I got 3-2 Leicester. United Newcastle. I got 3-0 United. You?
2-0 United. Both goals by Ronnie.
Goals by Ronnie off the bench in the 60th minute with two goals, including a free kick, saying fuck the haters, I can still score free kicks. I'm here for it. And then everybody loses their mind. When in reality, Ronaldo hasn't made a free kick since 2018. Anyway.
But Ronaldo in the eliminations, remember what he did?
In 2018 in the World Cup, he scored a free kick against David De Gea. That was the last, I'm pretty sure that's the last free kick he scored.
Ronaldo was losing, Portugal was losing 1-0 the whole game last week. And Ronaldo came and scored 2 goals in the last 2 minutes of the game.
He also missed a penalty kick. We're not, anyway. Southampton West Ham, what score do you have?
1-0 Southampton.
Ooh.
That's going to be the upset of the weekend.
Okay. I like where you're going. I have 2-1 Southampton. I think that I got to agree with you. Moving on to the next game, we go over to Vicarage Road, where Watford will host Wolves. Watford has been kind of up and down this season a little bit. I mean, they're currently sitting in 12th because they did get a win on the opening weekend, but then they've lost the last 2 games. Wolves haven't scored a goal yet this year. They've only allowed 3, but they haven't scored a goal yet this year. So you can't win if you can't score, and now they have to go on the road. So your thoughts?
I think it's going to be a 1-1 game. We're going to finally see Traore score something.
You think Traore?
Okay. Deeney is going to score something on the Watford side.
Deeney doesn't play for Watford anymore.
All right. Well, what's that other dude's name? I don't know. 1-1 might be a boring game, but Wolves is never boring. They're going to do something, hopefully. So I'm excited to see Traore play again. I might watch this just to see what Traore can do.
Okay. I have 2-1 Wolves. I mean, they have to win. They have to win.
Yeah, they do.
Next game, Chelsea are hosting Aston Villa. I was very big on Villa Then, of course, they lose to open the season. They do get a win, but then they get a draw. I don't really know what to expect from them. I would think that that's all going to mesh and it's going to lead to a Europa League or even a Conference League run. But those first three matches don't make me feel great. Whereas Chelsea look terrifying. Adding Lukaku changes everything about them. Their defense is stonewall tight. They too may have an issue with the Brazilians. Thiago Silva might miss, but I mean, he didn't even start against Liverpool 2 weekends ago. I like Chelsea a lot. I wouldn't be shocked the more that I watch if the title comes down to Chelsea and Liverpool. I think that City needed a forward. They didn't get a forward. We didn't really get into the whole transfer talk, but they were linked with Ronaldo. They didn't get Ronaldo. Ronaldo went to Man United. I think, and I know this is opening up to a bigger discussion, I think that them not having a forward that they could trust will hurt them in the end. I know Gabi Jesus is in form, but I think watching Chelsea and Liverpool 2 weekends ago, those are the two best teams in the country. And I think in that, I think that home games for Chelsea are going to be a pain in the ass for anybody coming in. I think that Villa is going to get choked out. It might only be 2-0, but it's going to be a game that is going to be entirely in the Chelsea, like it's going to be either play in the midfield or the Chelsea side of the field, because Chelsea have so many metronomic midfielders. They have a strong back line. They have Lukaku. They have wingers. They have a complete team, and Villa just don't. And I think that class is going to prevail here.
Yeah. I don't like Villa. I don't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chelsea's going to walk all over them. Even if the Brazilians aren't there, they have enough of attacking power and people like De Bruyne, people like Lukaku.
De Bruyne is Man City.
Oh, we're talking about Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Pulisic then, and I mean, there's a couple others. I can't think of the names right now, but I think they're going to be fine. They're not the team that relies on 6 or 8 Brazilian players on their starting lineup, like we're about to get to shortly here. So that's going to be an okay game. And Lukaku, hopefully he can do the things that he's been doing. Hopefully he can do more of it, because it's been fun to watch him so far this season.
Right. So we're going to move on to the next game where you said 6 to 8 Brazilians, which weird.
You know me, I'm a storyteller.
Liverpool have 3 Brazilians, and they will be playing a Leeds team with 1 Brazilian. So Liverpool will go to Leeds. Liverpool have 3 Brazilians, as I said, but Firmino was hurt anyway. Fabinho is in midfield, where Liverpool are spoiled for choice. And yes, Alisson hurts, but both Kelleher and Adrian have played for the team recently. I do not want, as a Liverpool fan, to see Adrian in this game. I will allude to demons of my past. If Adrian plays, I'm seeing very 7-2 Villa vibes. Damn. And it's giving me PTSD, and it might keep me up all night if there is a thought of Adrian playing in this game. So
You gotta also remember though, Rafinha won't be there if that's the case, and that's the heart of that team.
I don't think you comprehend, me as a Liverpool fan, how much PTSD Adrian gives me. This is a man who, you want to talk about unsure goalies. This man, I have seen him pass the ball directly to attackers in attacking positions to score goals.
Stuff.
He is the most unsettling. I've seen Loris Karius gift goals in a Champions League final. I would feel more comfortable with Loris Karius in that. Give me Kelleher. I mean, he showed up for Liverpool a couple of times in the Champions League, in the Premier League. Give me him. Give me him, and give me something to do. And yes, for Leeds, them losing Rafinha is a killer. More thoughts.
No, that's all thoughts. Liverpool is okay still. They're not gonna do bad, especially if the case is Brazilians are all across the board. I think Leeds won't be able to do much without Rafinha there. That's just what I think. So
Right.
It's going to be an easy one anyway. If Mo Salah and the combinations are there every weekend, Sadio Mane, the best player in the whole world and in history, is going to be there. So hopefully he can do something as well. And then his son Mo Salah is going to be there also. So that's going to be good.
I think, and I'm not even going to go down the rabbit hole that you tried me to, because I don't have time for that in my life. I think that both Mo and Sadio are on a fuck you tour, because everybody said Liverpool needed to add a forward. Liverpool need a forward. They need to change it up. What are Liverpool doing? They're both past it. Blah, blah. Mo Salah and Sadio Mane are still on their worst day, top 10 wingers in the world. And I think that this game against Leeds is the beginning of their fuck you tour. I wouldn't be shocked if they both get bracelets, if they both score twice, which, if that's the case, then maybe we get a repeat of the first game last year where it was a 4-3. That's assuming that Adrian is in net. If Kelleher is in net, I see it as 3-1 Liverpool. If Alisson is in net, pick your score. I think it could be 4-0 Liverpool. I just think Leeds. Now, that may be disrespectful to Leeds because I know this is a huge game for them, but I just think I think there's a point to prove. I think there's too many people that are hating on Liverpool, and they didn't do stuff in the transfer market. And I think they're sick of that shit. And I think that, as I said, that them and Chelsea are going to be the teams in it for the title. So it's going to begin on Sunday, their fuck you tour. So that's that. And not for nothing, and I know I'm a Liverpool fan, so I talk about these things. Another game that Liverpool dropped points in last year where they could pick up points, which is now 4 games into the season, and they've had an opportunity to pick up points in all 4 games. And they did in the first 3. I know they didn't win against Chelsea, but they lost against Chelsea last year, and they won against, or they drew against Chelsea this year. So that's points picked up. So if the whole story is Liverpool had a lost 2021 season, this is the beginning of them regaining their mojo. So
you say they're picking up points like they're going to win the same games that they won last season, this season. Is that what you're implying to with picking up points?
Yes. So
sounds ridiculous.
What?
Sounds ridiculous.
How does it sound ridiculous?
Because they can lose. They can lose some games that they won last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They could lose points in places, but the whole point is they were a 69-point team last year. If they're going to get back to title caliber, they need to start picking points back up.
All right.
So they've already picked up 2 against Norwich, 3 against Burnley, 1 against Chelsea, and they have 2 more that they could pick up against Leeds. And then match the results from last year. So again, I don't want to get deep into it because you can butter knife it with any team. I mean, just thinking about teams who relatively struggled last year. I'm pretty sure Spurs have picked up points. I'm pretty sure Chelsea actually dropped points because they beat Liverpool last year and they only drew against them this year. But they beat Arsenal and they lost to Arsenal last year, so they picked up points there. So we'll see. Last game is I say of the weekend, but it's Monday. I think this might be the most boring game of the weekend just because I know how Burnley play, and it's an Everton Rafa Benitez team. Everton hosting Burnley. I've said this before. Burnley know how Burnley want to play when they're on the road in games that might be tough for them. And it's put up a brick wall, don't lose. And that is going to be it.
Yeah, that's not I mean, it's good that the EPL is on Monday, breaks up our work day, but Everton's always a team that I like to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be fun as always. Burnley hasn't looked that good, so it should be a beating. Should be a practice for Everton. So let's hope that's the case.
Well, I mean, there are of course teams that we like to watch, so we're going to watch them. I mean, I watched Burnley play Liverpool, and it was like watching a hockey match. I mean, they're an interesting team, but they find a way to survive. I mean, I could see a 1-1 here. I could see a 1-1. I mean, that's what Burnley want to do. They want to frustrate you. They want to make you hate everything about everything, and then they find the way to score a goal. I mean, that's what they do. They sharpen their elbows, cry about fouls, which is ironic because that's what Everton do. And actually, we talk about the Brazilian problem. Try to explain this one to me. Their Brazilians are allowed to play. They're Brazilians, good to go. Alan, play. Richarlison, play. Explain it.
Did they make it? They made it on the squad, on the team, right? On the national squad.
They are. Richarlison starting.
What the fuck? That's so weird.
Conspiracy?
It was all about just the good players. They only want the good players to not play.
Conspiracies. So we've been a little high and tight here today. I don't think that there were any top games. I mean, not to disrespect Leicester Man City. That's a competitive game. Not to disrespect. I mean, Chelsea Aston Villa, I think will be a well-played game. I like Villa, but Chelsea's also really good. I mean, it'll be fun to see Ronaldo back at United. Everybody will get all excitable about that. So what are you looking for this weekend? What's getting your rocks going for this weekend?
Yeah, I want to see Ronaldo play. I want to see Traore play. I want to see Arsenal get beat again. I want to see Jack Grealish do something or not, and Lukaku play. I want to see Mo Salah and Sadio Mane do something. There's a little tidbits of a little bit that I want to see. There's nothing like last weekend where we had a Chelsea Liverpool. So it's a different type of weekend where I want to see tidbits here and there, and it's going to come all sporadically and popping in and out throughout the weekend and on a Monday too. So it's going to be a different type of weekend in the EPL, but nonetheless, still the best league in the world.
Which might be more fun. I know
Yeah.
we've had these discussions plenty of times. The fun weekends are the ones that catch you off guard, where you're like, it's who wants to watch Burnley Everton, and then that game becomes an 8-goal thriller with the lead changing 4 times in the last 10 minutes.
That's what makes you love the EPL.
Yeah.
Or a 2-2 at the 80th minute where they're both trying to knock each other's head off, you know?
Right. So that's definitely what we want to watch for. There's nothing too crazy. Another thing that's very interesting is not before we talk again, because we'll do a run through on Tuesday actually, but the Champions League starts next week too, so that's going to be fun. We'll come up with something to talk Champions League. Maybe we'll integrate it a little bit in another podcast. We'll break it down. We'll do something. So that is another interesting thing for how people straighten out their lineups, because they got to worry about Europe. So that is that with that. Any other thoughts, Leo Nardu?
No, I think if we want to keep it to just this weekend of EPL, we're Gucci. I think it's going to be a good one that's going to give us just a little bit to keep us at the edge of our seat, and if not, wanting more for the next weekend.
Right. All righty. Well, like I said, high and tight. I feel like we may have disrespected some of these games, but unfortunately, there weren't anything hot. I mean, honestly, the hottest thing might be what they do with the Brazilians and what players come in if the Brazilians can't play. I mean, I feel like our next chat could be a lot about how Scott Carson threw 3 balls in the net, and Man City lost 5-1 to Leicester because of it. Or Adrian played, and oh my God, Liverpool got killed by Leeds. So we'll see. Or in the same vein, Rafinha didn't play, Leeds looked horrible, Liverpool walked all over them. So it'll be interesting. But either way, super fun, and we'll do it again soon, okay?
That is perfect. Thank you so much.
Later. Bye.
Peace.